Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. JJ Redick had his staff look up actual stats to prove players return from injury against Lakers. Confirmation bias can be a tricky thing to navigate. If you believe something, then whenever you see it, it becomes a more fervent belief. For some time, Lakers fans online have felt that players return against them at a high rate. And each time it happens, as it did on Saturday against the Grizzlies when Ja Morant played his first game after nearly 2 weeks out, their heels dig in deeper. Is this a case of it actually being true? Or is this a case of believing it's true and being emboldened a handful of times it actually does happen? Well, head coach JJ Redick had a similar question. Prior to Saturday's game, Redick was asked about the theory and revealed he actually had his staff research the notion. "We had our analytics group look into it," Redick said. "I don't know that it's been updated. I haven't looked at it since Dame Lillard missed the Milwaukee game. But I think it's like 86% of payroll has been available against us this year, which is, by far, number one in the league." The game he is referencing took place on March 20th, so the data would be less than 2 weeks old at this point. Still, there are some caveats. Having players available against your team is not the same as players returning against your team. It's pretty close. And, really, it'd be a pretty exhaustive study to look at every instance of a player returning from injury and analyzing if it happened more against the Lakers than anyone else. To perhaps further back up Redick's point, though, there are other similar stats that back up the notion that players play against the Lakers. Again, to get the full understanding of this, you'd have to document every instance of a player coming back to get a full picture, and who would do the? Me. I would. Early this season, I started keeping track of when players returned from injury against the Lakers. While there was about a month span from December until January where I stopped tracking because it didn't seem to be a notion with much backing to it, a flurry of instances in the last roughly month made me backtrack. This list may not be entirely complete, and if I missed some, do share, and it also doesn't include just players injured. There are a couple of instances of non-injuries keeping players out. The date in parentheses is the last game played by the player. Boston faces Memphis and Los Angeles Lakers hosts Houston in a special TNT Monday night doubleheader on March 31st. TNT ramps up their coverage of the NBA run to the playoffs starting tonight at 7 p.m. with Boston at home to face Memphis. The pregame show will be hosted by Adam Lefkoe, Candace Parker, Shaquille O'Neal and Vince Carter. Tip-off starts at 7:30 p.m. with Pete Pranica, Brendan Haywood and Taylor Rooks on the call of the game. Here's a quick preview. Boston Celtics, riding high with an impressive streak of 8 consecutive wins, the Celtics are showcasing their dominance, particularly with their top-ranked defense allowing only 106.1 points per game. Key players like Jason Tatum and Jrue Holiday are in great form, contributing significantly to their recent victories. Memphis Grizzlies, on the other hand, the Grizzlies are struggling, having lost 5 of their last 6 games. Despite boasting the league's best offense with 123.6 points per game, internal challenges, including the departure of head coach Taylor Jenkins, seem to be affecting their performance. The game promises to be an exciting clash between Boston's defensive prowess and Memphis's offensive firepower. The nightcap will begin at 10:30 p.m. with the TNT crew of Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller and Lauren Jabara doing the honors. The Los Angeles Lakers are set to host the Houston Rockets in a crucial game as both teams push for playoff positioning. The Lakers, led by LeBron James and Luka Doncic, are looking to solidify their spot in the playoffs after a recent win against the Memphis Grizzlies. Meanwhile, the Rockets, with standout performances from Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun, are riding high with 11 wins in their last 12 games. The game will take place at the Crypto.com Arena, where the Rockets have struggled historically, losing their last 8 visits. However, with their current form, they'll aim to break that streak and make a strong statement in the Western Conference playoff race. TNT will have the post-game show featuring the return of Lefko, Parker, Oneal and Carter in their Atlanta studio to recap all the action. The Lakers entered Saturday's matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies desperate for a win. Tied in the standings for the 4th seed and at risk of slipping closer to the play-in, the Lakers secured the victory 134-127. This was the best game played by the trio of LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic. All three scored at least 25 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, and provided 8 assists. The excellent performances were spearheaded by a clear and intentional shift to using James as a play finisher, allowing the starting backcourt to initiate most possessions. The coaching staff is evaluating how to sustain the offensive flow with all three. According to the NBA's tracking data, in a 14-game sample, they possess a 113.0 offensive rating together on the floor, which would rank 19th in the league. It's a first-world problem and one that coaches would love to have. Franchises would sacrifice their next decade to have this problem, but it remains a concern nonetheless. One promising solution has been to use James more in the post, particularly when teams implement a switching defense, as they have recently. Take a look below as LeBron sets a screen for Reeves and the Grizzlies switch with Scottie Pippen Jr., creating a mismatch. An easy pass over the top results in a basket at the rim. Shaquille O'Neal sends message with Lakers facing LeBron James decision. Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James has accomplished nearly everything the NBA has to offer in his 22 seasons. A 4-time champion and Finals MVP, James is also the NBA's all-time leading scorer. While much of his success came before joining Los Angeles in 2018, James has had a very impressive Lakers tenure. In his 7th season with LA, James had been an All-Star each year, adding a championship and Finals MVP award in 2020. Given his achievements in a Lakers uniform, James will certainly have at least one of his jersey numbers, 6 and 23, retired by the franchise one day, but has he done enough to receive a statue outside Crypto.com Arena? One of the most iconic franchises in sports history, the Lakers have statues of Elgin Baylor, Kobe Bryant, Chick Hearn, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Jerry West outside of their arena, Hat Tip NBA. With James' career nearing its end, the Lakers face a decision on whether to honor him this way. As Los Angeles mulls over this decision, O'Neal weighed in during an interview with Brandon "Scoop" B. Robinson. LeBron broke the record, and he did it as a Laker, O'Neal said of James becoming the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Would I oppose him having a statue in Los Angeles? No, I wouldn't. But he won a championship with the Lakers, and a lot of people try to discredit it. If that one doesn't count, then you can't count Mr. Duncan's bubble championship either. That's right. I said it. If we're counting Tim Duncan's lockout year championship, then you have to count LeBron's too. Having a statue himself, O'Neal's opinion on this topic certainly holds weight. The 4-time NBA champion, 3 with Los Angeles, would not oppose James joining him outside Crypto.com Arena as the team's 7th player with a statue. And you fan? What do you think about Shaquille O'Neal's situation? Write to us in the comments.